Made on Market Studio, Episode 2. If I don't start, I can't succeed. Hey, welcome back to Made on Market Studio. I'm doing something a little different today. In Episode 1, I talked about community and abundance and tulip bulbs and the anxiety of texting a friend. If you haven't listened to that one, go back and do it. I think it's a good one. It's the only other one, so it's definitely the best. I also realize that, if I don't start, I can't fail. And I think that is where I've been stalling out, right? But if I don't start, I also can't succeed. And I'll tell you what, I really want to succeed. Because it's not me. My name is attached to the project because I got the grant, but when this is all said and done, it's not like I'm going to have my name next to it. It's just going to be there. And this is an opportunity for other people that there's 2 incredibly skilled knitters who met with me over a month ago, waiting to hear back from me. There's a dozen people who reached out after the newspaper article ran about this project. There's community members who don't even know it's happening yet, but will want to be involved once they learn about it. And if I don't start, then we all can't have this experience. If I don't start, we can't succeed. It's not just me, right? And that pressure and expectation is actually more pressing to me than the fear of failure. Something cool about the fabric that I'm using, it's really intentional, which, in case you haven't picked up on it yet here in the middle of episode 2, that's going to be a recurring theme, intentionality. So I have all kinds of fabric in my stash from all kinds of places, scraps, and I've acquired fabric from breaking down other textiles of old clothing and whatnot. Remnants I save because I don't like to waste things. This, pair of my daughter's karate pants, I cut the hems off, or I cut the bottoms off because they were too long and they needed to be hemmed, but she had worn them a couple times. So the bottoms were stained, and I actually considered not putting the stained piece in, but I thought, this is a piece, this tapestry is a piece that is documenting what life looks like right now in this town in this year. And these karate pants, that's where they're from. And so we are literally weaving a memento of now. And so this is real. This is now. Some of this fabric is actually coming from someone I've never met. A friend of mine has a friend who's a fiber artist, and that person has a terminal illness. And in this season of her life, she's been going through things, namely a lot of her stash of crafting items and her materials, and she's finding them homes. And some of her fabric has come to me through my friend, and so some of her fabric is coming into this project. So, this piece of this person that I've never met is going to end up hanging up in a wall at a city hall that she's never been to, in a town I don't think she's ever lived in, stitched together with the hands of people who didn't know her. And that's special to me. That's the fabric of a community, right? We are not just our community where we live. We are our community of our web of extended, people. And this person is not in my community, but they are in my friend's community. And my friend is in my community, and therefore this fabric belongs here. And this piece is going to be made up of things from people of all kinds of backgrounds and histories. And, it's an artistic document. It is history. It will become history. And that's what I have really come to feel through all of this. I have to say, going through this kind of self-talk of this project and where I'm struggling with it has really helped me. I feel better. I still need to reach out to my collaborators. I still need to book the community spaces where this project will be worked on. I still need to set some dates and do some emails and the logistical work of actually running a project, which is hard and tedious. Not all of that has happened yet, and that's fine. But something has shifted. Getting my hands on the materials, making the pieces that other people will eventually add to. This is making the project real, and the anxiety gets quieter. And that's what I want to say, I think, today. And sometimes, the way through the fear isn't always the self-talk. It's sometimes just starting. It's the momentum. For me today, it was picking up the glue stick and picking up the scissors, right? If you're listening to this and you have a thing, a project or an idea, something you've been meaning to do, something that you are feeling anxiety over, something fearful for you, I want you to pause this right now if you can and go and get that something related to that thing that you're stalled on and bring it back. Really, right now, pause it. If you're going to do this, pause it. Did you do it? It's okay if you didn't, but imagine if you did, or if you did, what's stopping you? Is it the fear of starting? Is it the fear of not finishing? Fear of what it will look like when it's done and people can see it if it's a reflection of you? I know from futzing with fabric for the last hour, the fear doesn't go away when you start, but it got quieter. And the thing starts to take more shape. And that shape is real. And real is better than theoretical. I am doing two things at once here. One of those things is being vulnerable on a recording, and the other is cutting fabric. So here we go. What I'm making as part of a community art project that I've been working on, I applied for a grant through my local cultural council, which, if you don't know, many towns and cities have these. They're funded through state arts councils. You should look it up if you're at all artistic or creative. It is really cool. So I applied for it. I got it. And the project is a collaborative fiber arts piece that is going to be installed at our city hall when it's done. It's based on a historic poster of our town's downtown square, and it's going to be made by community members using lots of different fiber art methods, knitting, crochet, quilting, hopefully some embroidery. And today, what I'm working on is prepping the English paper piecing. The actual method is an important selection that I've made in this project. But before I dive into what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, I kind of want to give you some backstory. So I applied for this grant in the fall of last year, and I found out I got it in January. I was so excited. I immediately dove in, planning, working out details, how far was the money going to go, what was I going to be able to spend it on. I got really excited, and it really did give me this lift that I needed at that time in the year. I had a really kind of intense, exciting start, and then I stalled out and didn't really make any moves towards continuing down the project. Then I got reinvigorated, and in early April, I met with two really skilled knitters in my community who I am friends with from various community groups, and they are going to help with a part of the project, which is super exciting. And I left that meeting feeling really energized, yes, this is the community I'm trying to build. These are my people. These people are willing to be my people. And I was yeah, let's go. And then I did absolutely nothing. For over a month now, I've done nothing. The energy has stayed entirely inside my own head, And the only progress I've made has been in making myself feel worse and worse about how long I have let this drag out. So, like, I've not done anything. I've been thinking about it a lot. I've been planning things in my head and like making decisions that I need to make as far as what my plan of action is, but I have made zero commitments. And I think like a lot of us probably have a project, whether it's a creative project or a passion project or goals for yourself or what have you. Like, I think a lot of us have a project somewhere in our lives that like we're actively thinking about it and we're not doing it. And I think that maybe we call this procrastination. And also, I think that maybe we call this fear and anxiety, because if you're one of those people, hi, welcome. I am also one of those people. And like today, this episode, I'm talking about fear. Specifically my fear in this project that I'm actively working on, that I got up and decided to record because I needed something to tie me to moving to forward progress on this. And so that's what I'm doing. I pulled out the camera and I started recording and I started talking through what was challenging about this project for me. And that's now turned into this episode. So let's go back to English paper piecing. It's a type of hand sewing, hand quilting, where you take a piece of cardstock, or I believe that like even newsprint and stuff has been used in the past, or like old cereal boxes, like get creative, but you take a piece of thicker paper, you cut it into the shapes that you want. So you like puzzle piece or tessellate your final pattern. And then using those cards, you cut fabric a little bit larger than it and you wrap the fabric around it. You baste it down either with glue, which is what I'm doing, or the large running stitch around the edge. And you assemble your fabric, your piece, by sewing the edges of these shapes together. And you sandwich them together, you sew along the edge, and when you open them back up and you fold them back out, it's all nice and crisp. What I love about this and why I chose it for this project is it's incredibly forgiving. English paper piecing allows all these rough edges, the uneven cuts on the back, like the places where the fabric gets bunchy. It's wrapped around the card and then hidden behind. And if we wanted as a community, we could like clean up all those hems. But also, I think those rough edges and the imperfections lead more into kind of the theming of this project, right? You can be a little sloppy and it still comes out looking good. It's, all of these pieces are not on display, but all of these pieces have all of this in the background going on. Is that not a metaphor for the members who are part of a community? That we all show up together and assemble together to create this thing, to be this knit fabric together. And behind the scenes, privately, in our own lives and with our own intimate circles, we have all these other things going on because we are all complex. We all are individual and we aren't all going to be served in the same ways by the same things, but we show up here together and we live together in community, supporting each other so that we can have both. We can slot in and fit together and find harmony. And we also can have our own shit going on in the background. That's all real and that's all true. And fuck me if that isn't the best metaphor for something that I still fully can't even articulate yet. The other thing I love about this is it's pretty accessible. It's not you do have to have some dexterity, right? Some fine motor skills to be able to do sewing. So this is not for everybody in every age, but you can contribute a couple of stitches. Somebody can hand you a threaded needle and you can do a couple stitches and be like, woohoo, I was part of it. Or you can take this home and you can work on hundreds of stitches, a few square feet of this project all by yourself. And you can create as small or as large of a mark as you would like at this point in this project. And, the other thing that I'm really intentional about is meeting people where they're at. So, I'm going to be hosting community events where people can come and sit and stitch together. And I'm also going to be having at those events people assembling packets for people to come and pick up and then take home to work on it on their couch, in their pajamas, at their comfort level, with their own friends, in their own communities. You do not have to be my friend to work on this project. You do not have to come and sit and listen to me talk or talk to me or whatever. I want this to be a way for strangers to craft together, to make a communal project in whatever way serves them, in whatever way gives them community. And so what I'm doing today is I'm gluing pre-cut fabric onto paper pieces, wrapping and pressing so the edges are nice and snug. And this is going to be, so I've already cut this, and what I have is these business cards that I'm wrapping them around to basically give an example, because I'm going to have these kind of worked out for people already, but then I'm counting out more cardstock, I'm cutting up more fabric, and then I'm going to bring some uncut fabric and have this in varying stages so that people can help me get through the bulk of it, so I don't have to do everything myself. So it's really like part of what led me to want to do this podcast is like doing this type of work, the prep work specifically, is like it's repetitive and it's satisfying and your hands know what to do. And so you can kind of get into that flow state, and then that's when my brain actually like calms down. You'd think that like doing that would like make your brain more anxious, but actually like when my hands are busy, it's like the anxiety loosens up a little, and then I can really dive into like what needs to happen next. Like whether that's, for this project specifically, which is what was happening for me, but also just like in life, right? Like I can think about like, okay, what do I need to do next? The anxiety cloud disappears when my hands are busy. And that's part of the reason why I love crafting so damn much. Like rather than sitting and spiraling, I can sit and crochet and make a to-do list or think about where I'm going over the weekend or plan for whatever is stressing me out. It's like the haze is lifting. And that's just like such a great strategy that I really value. So anyway, as I'm doing this prep work, I start to figure out why I felt so frozen in the tapestry project. And honestly, it's because to me, making art is quite intimate. Like, I don't know how else to put it. When I make something, like for instance, textile, something that takes like hours of my time and my hands have touched every part of it, and the decisions of the colors and the patterns and like all of these things are choices that I'm making and feeling inspired to do, right? And that whole process is as authentic and vulnerable as I have ever experienced being. That means that the output is a direct reflection of me and the choices I made to get it there. And that's just, it feels really private. It's something I still struggle with. And for the last, 4, 5, 6 years, I have been making art mostly for myself. The art that I make stays in my own home. A lot of it stays in my own studio. And it's shared with the people I trust in my space. And I do occasionally make gifts and feel very stressed about it, but give gifts with love and usually get really good feedback. So like there is a finite amount of people who get to see my art on a regular basis. That said, a couple of years ago, I made a quilt and I entered it into the county fair, and it was great because, I got to get judgment for it. I got feedback for it. I received, like a fourth place ribbon, which was exciting. This last fall, when I was applying for the grant, I had the opportunity to put that same quilt on display at the public library in my town, where people know me. And that was scary for me to experience in a way that thousands of people going to the fair wasn't. And honestly, it turned out to be like one of the best experiences I've had thus far as an artist, because like the librarian told me she loved looking at my quilt every day. My coworkers were like, wait, you quilt? That's amazing. You are so talented. What the fuck? And like, I realized I carry like this skill and this part of myself, like this identity of being an artist. I'm very modest about it. And like that experience, like that, having the quilt up for a few months, it was up, like it went up in the fall and it stayed up through the winter, like through the time I had the grant and all this. So like that became like just this empowering thing. And like, I kind of set down like the feeling that I had to hide this part of myself. So that confidence is all part of what made me apply for this grant. And now the grant is real and the project is real and people believe that I'm an artist because I am. And like the output is going to hang in a public building where people I know will see it and other people will get to be a part of that. And like the part of my brain that has been quietly making quilts and like doing other art and being experimental for like the last 6 years is fucking coming out of her shell. And it's so awesome. But also, like, this same fear is coming back with this project, because what if I fail publicly? Like, what if I don't finish this? What if this is not well received? All of these scary things, like, if it were just me on my own and I would let myself down, fuck it, fine. But like to fail publicly, to fail in front of the community I'm trying to build, in a building in my city, with my name attached to it, with public funding backing it, this is like a new level of anxiety unlocked. Lucky fucking me. I'm going to stop letting the fear of the whole thing keep me from doing the next small piece of it, because that's all it is. I just need to do the next small piece of it. And I can be brave enough to do that. You're brave enough to do that. My project isn't done yet. The tapestry barely feels started, but the wheels are turning. The process is happening. It's going to be great, even though it's scary. And here's the thing I keep coming back to. Like, this is what community looks like, right? Because that's what's important here for me. It's messy and slow, and there's a lot of details I haven't dealt with, and people I've kept waiting longer than I should have. But there are people who've said yes. There's fabric from a stranger I'll never meet. There's going to be this project that ends up living in a public building for the foreseeable future. There's 2 knitters who showed up to meet with me and got excited, and as far as I know it, are still waiting on me. Bless them for that. I am building the thing I want to see. I'm creating the community I want to have. And it doesn't happen from inside my own head. It happens when I pick up the scissors and glue the fabric down and send the email and show up. And that's what this podcast is going to be about at its core. Not having it figured out, just doing the next small piece anyway. Okay, I've kept you long enough. Go make something. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be the next small piece. Until next time, from Made on Market Studio. If you like this podcast, please consider checking out previous episodes. Already have? Subscribe for future updates on YouTube, Substack, and more.